Okay, so all you're going to do here is you're going to launch Zoom, and I'm going to go to a new meeting, and in that new meeting, I am going to tell it to share. So when I click the share button, I have my different options here, and we're going to be messing with the iPad and the iPhone. So I select it, and it's going to ask me to install a driver. It says a plugin is required. I'm going to tell it to go ahead and install that drive-in so that this works. And now it tells me on my iPhone or my iPad that I'm looking for this thing called Zoom Staff. And on my phone, I just slide it up and I select screen mirroring here, and I choose the Zoom option right here. It's just like you were connecting it to an Apple TV if you were going that way. So now my iPhone is on this device. If I want to go to Google's Maps or anything else, it would do the same thing. So here it is, looking at Charlevoix High School. If you were doing this on your iPad, if you took your finger in the top right-hand corner and slide it down, that's where you get the option on the iPad to mirror your screen. On the iPhone, it's a swipe up, but on the iPad, it's a swipe down. So whatever I go here now is going to display. If I was using Notability or something, it would work great. The only thing I want to do here is I want to make my phone be a dot cam. So I choose my camera and I leave it on photo, and then I just snap this into place, and it's facing down. So now I can adjust the height of this and the angle to be the right height and to be able to display my document. If it's upside down, this does pivot all the way around 360 degrees, so it's very user-friendly and it's very easy to get it into the proper position. I'd let the arms settle down. It will stop bouncing, and now we're going to get into how to record your session on the Zoom. So right now, we're going to make a recording using Zoom. All you need to do is launch the app, and at the bottom of the screen here, you're going to click on Record. And if you were using the iPad that we just showed you how to use, you'd be clicking down here on Share Screen. So go ahead and do your lesson, and as soon as you're done, you're going to hit Stop Record. It's that simple. Now, when you end the meeting, that's when the file is created. And if you remember, this is the exact same process we went through when we did the People's Choice Award last spring. So I'm going to end the meeting, even though there's no participants, end the meeting for all. And it's going to make my entire lesson now into an MP4 file. MP4 files are just very compressed and smaller files than MOVs and some of the other video formats, and they're just very user-friendly. It moves files into your Documents folder, and in your Documents folder, you're going to have a folder called Zoom. Every day that you've created a file, it's going to create a new folder for it. So if you go into today's, and today for me is right here on the 20th, I can open that file up, and I've created two different video files. And now we're just going to review some real basic maintenance. If this was a math lesson, you could select this once to select it, second click with a pause in between to rename it, and I could call this math lesson 4B or whatever else you want to name this as, and then it's named. Feel free to do the same thing with your different folders in Zoom. Select once to highlight it, select again to rename it. This is my math folder, or algebra, or social studies, or history, or whatever else. So now my folders are named properly, my files are named properly, and we can upload from there. If you're going to do short little videos, it's very easy to upload those videos to Canvas. But if you made a very lengthy, long video, like Kurt Harwood likes to do, that was 20 to 30 minutes long, it's not going to like those movie files that are that big. So it's going to be better in those situations to upload the video to YouTube and then provide the link. So your Raider.net is a Google account. Hopefully you remember that. If you go up to where you would normally go into your Drive, one of the options you have in that same area is YouTube. So you all have YouTube channels. Once this comes up, you can go over and click on this plus button to create a new video. So the videos are going to come from our Zoom channels. You can drag and drop these files into this location. So I could come over here and I could go into my Finder and go into my documents and go into the Zoom. And I renamed this folder Math. And I could take this Math lesson 4B and I can just drag it into this area. That's one option. The second option is, while you're in the screen, instead of dragging in here, select the blue button down here to select your file. And you're going to navigate the same way, Documents, down into Zoom, into the folder I named Math, and find Math Lesson 4B and open it up. So once you have the file, it usually doesn't take too long to put it in there. Notice it already gave it a title. You can go ahead and change this. If you didn't rename that file before and you're just selecting it for the first time, this is a good place to put it in. Jen Glass and a couple of the other teachers, and Gina Clute, are really good at this stuff. If you have questions on YouTube, Jen is a good one to ask. If you're gonna have these videos set for private, you really don't need to put any descriptions in here. But like when we want people to be able to search for our stuff and find it, for our broadcasting or People's Choice Award, this is where we would type in People's Choice Award. This is where, and then we would separate things by commas and say, comma, Charlevoix High School, comma, CHS, comma, Rayders, comma, anything that we want people to put in as search things for those videos to pop up. But I'm not going to do any of that because I'm going to have all of my lessons set to private. Thumbnails is the first little picture that's going to show up when they click on that. They're really not necessary, and the computer will pick one automatically. But if you're one of those weirdies that likes to have things just perfect, that's where you can do it. You can take a snapshot of something. It's pretty important here that we select, yes, it's made for kids. It does some things where we don't get any weird advertising, any of that risky stuff that we want to avoid at schools. So now I can click next. Video elements, I don't think there's much to do here. I'm gonna go right past that, and finally I'm on my last tab. So under visibility, this is where I want to choose unlisted. So once again, an unlisted phone number or unlisted web page, excuse me, or YouTube link is one where you have to have the link in order to get to it. So you can share it with your students, students can share it with each other, administrators can share it with whoever that they want, but they're not going to be able to search for it on YouTube and find it by using some of those techniques that we just went over. Schedule, you know, when we did the People's Choice Award, we set it up so that it was going to debut on Friday at 7 o'clock. You don't have to mess with any of that stuff. And really, this is it. I'm going to hit save. This is one of the places you can copy your link from, but it's also, I think, going to be available to us on our next screen. So I'm going to click save. And there it is. I can come in here and highlight this link, and I'm going to hit Command C and copy it. And then when I go to Canvas, I can paste that link, and everything's going to be live from there. So I'm going to hit close. And over here on the left, you can see that I have a couple different videos logged in here. These are some things you should spend some time looking at, but it's pretty straightforward stuff. And like I said, try to find somebody in our building that's good at it. I'm happy to help you with what I understand about it. But I think you're gonna like how it works. So thank you.
So there are two ways that you can link or upload the video to a module. So here I am at a home screen. And if you're not sure if your modules are your home screen, you can always just click on modules to get to your modules. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose a module here. I'm just going to go ahead and upload this to this resources module. And for this one, I'm going to actually physically upload the video file. So I'm just going to select File, New File. I'm going to choose that file. So here's my Zoom video that I created, or I can use the one that's called Math Lesson. And I can choose that. I'm not going to indent, but if you are indenting on your modules, you can make that decision. And then go ahead and add the item. Now this is here, it's automatically published. If you had your module published, kids could see it. They would have to click this link and then download the video. So that's probably not the best way to do this. The better way would be adding to that module using a link. And that link comes from your URL that you copied from your YouTube video or from your Google Drive if you've uploaded your video there. So to add a link to your module, you're just going to come down here, external URL, and then in this spot, you will go ahead and paste your link. You can give it a title. Let's call this one the math video. And then you can decide, do you want it to load in a new tab when they open it or stay embedded? It doesn't matter, whatever your choice is. So those are the two ways that we can upload. Notice though that this one did not automatically publish. So I do have to make sure I publish that to my students so that they can see it. Again, my module would also need to be published so that they can see it. Now, that's if you want to add these to your modules. If you'd like to add them somewhere else, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so when you're on your home screen, it might look slightly different than this. Let's say you wanted to send an announcement to your students or even an assignment. This works pretty similar process. You're going to go to Add Announcement. You can title your announcement, and then you have a couple of choices. You can embed it using your URL. So I just pasted my URL in, and now your video is embedded right here. You also could just do a link so that they have to open it in a separate video. However, generally, Canvas is going to recognize that that's a link, and they're going to kind of embed the video for you. So if you want your kids to really easily and quickly be able to access that, you can just go ahead, insert or edit your media, paste your URL, and then say OK, and your video shows up right there. Don't forget to go ahead and hit save or share so that that is posted for your students.